and Peyton Manning on the same list.
Right.
Like, you know, they don't know that. They ain't see that work.
I ain't see that. Well, with that being said, Neely, man, you are, as much as the kudos have been given, you are a Jackson State icon yourself. The pregame show helped elevate our alma mater, beloved, be our love to phenomenal heights. And a lot of people, there are a lot of narratives that are being spun that were a narrative. And let me use this word again for the people who don't understand the word optics about what it looked like. So with that being said, a lot of people would like to really understand and know what has happened, what is being done with, or what will happen to the pregame show for Jackson State University.
Hey man, that was as color purple. Sophia hit the table and said, "Sophia home now." now we getting down in there.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
You know, like I have said on other platforms,
Right.
you know, the pregame show was started at Jackson State University.
Right. Exactly.
It was never an official media outlet of the university.
Okay.
Never. You know, hats off to Ashley Robinson, athletic director, who allowed Chucky and I, you know, to do some things before Coach Prime got there.
Right.
Hats off to Coach Tamika Reed, who would take time out to do interviews with us as
Shout out
Coach
to
Prime was
Reed,
getting
man.
man,
Oh,
like
man.
phenomenal
Coach Reed.
coach.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach of the Year, swag.
Yeah.
Kudos. Keep doing
no
it,
doubt,
man.
no doubt.
For sure.
And it was Coach Prime who noticed that
Wow.
and called me up
Wow.
in March of 2021 and said, "Brother, y'all doing some outstanding stuff. I want to help you go to the next level."
Wow.
And so I'm giving you guys inside of football. I like what you're doing with the other sports and with the university, but I want you inside, covering this exclusively, showing what goes on. I'll sit down with you. Now, one thing people got to understand about Deion Sanders, we know about his Hall of Fame career,
Right.
14 years in NFL, you know, so many years Major League Baseball. We forget about his 14 years in NFL network and broadcasting.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
I mean, this is a guy
You
who.
kind of forget that.
Yeah,
sometimes.
real time.
This is
How
a
long
guy.
he did that.
This is
Bumped
a
through
guy.
sports, too.
This is a guy who gets Marshawn Lynch to say, "I'm just about that action, boss."
Right.
Like it was at the Super Bowl, and Coach Prime was interviewing him and drew
Right.
that out of him. So this
Right.
guy knows marketing, media, and how they correlate.
Right.
So we jumped at that opportunity, of course. Well, fast forward, when he decides to leave, the pregame show was not in a position where we were leaving.
Right.
You know, this is home. I'm from Jackson.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
I'm a Jackson State graduate.
Right.
But here's a fun fact.
Fun fact.
And this has never been said. I'm smiling because this has never been said on any platform before.
Wow. You'll hear it right here first on the Good Bus Committee podcast.
December 2nd,
December 2nd.
SWAC Championship.
Select championship.
Coach Prime is still at Jackson State.
Of course.
I have never stepped foot in Colorado
Right.
December 2nd.
Right.
The word came from the president's office at Jackson State that when Deion Sanders leaves, the pregame show might as well leave with him because they're not going to be able to cover nothing.
Wow.
That was crazy.
That
Especially when you give in your family history. There's like 4 generations.
Yeah.
4 generations Jackson State. And you were working with, and you weren't working for the school,
No, just
but you were
you.
doing that
Just
before
you.
Deion
Oh,
got
wait a
there.
minute. He was there when I played there.
Yeah.
He was there when I played there.
Yeah. Been a friend of the program a long time. And
Right.
I think what happened, and I don't want to put words in the, I guess he's former president's mouth, but I think what happened was there was some times where the pregame show, particularly Neely, put it out to the world what was going on between the administration and our then head coach.
Yeah.
And that the administration didn't like. And so the word was put out, like, hey man, you know, when Prime leave, they might as well leave too because they're not going to have that access no more. Now, here's the beauty of it, I guess. Never asked for it. You know, I understood that what at the time Coach Prime was allowing may not be something that my good friend T.C. Taylor wanted. He would have that right as head coach.
Right.
And you know, one thing that y'all can go out there in social media and scour for, you ain't never seen Ashley Robinson say something negative about the pregame show.
No,
You ain't never seen T.C. Taylor say something negative about the press. You've never seen a former or current Jackson State player say something negative about the pregame show.
Right.
But people act like we just packed up and went to Colorado.
And that was just
When chronologically,
it don't make sense.
like, everybody got what they do for a living. If somebody tell you can no longer do it here, well, don't be mad when I go do it across the street.
Right.
Because baby needs shoes.
Right.
And so, Ashley, let me say this. Ashley Robinson and I, good friend, fraternity brother, head of athletics for Jackson State. We still are in direct communication, good friend. And I have let him know that anything the pregame show and this platforms can do to continue to promote Jackson State athletics, we will do.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is not, here's what I don't understand. I'm gonna take the gloves off.
Take the gloves off.
Here's what I don't understand about black folks.
Let's go.
When college game day came here, they were at another school the week before.
Right.
They were at another school the week after.
Right.
Why black folks with a network? Why I got to just cover one thing? Why do you hold me to a standard you don't hold CBS to, Fox to,
Oh man,
ABC Sports to? Why I got to cover Jackson State or nothing?
I can answer that. And Preston sent something to me the other day to a group of us. They were talking about Popeye's chicken. It's called social conditioning. It's because we only look towards to what we know compared to what we can learn.
Okay.
And that's a little different from what we know compared to what we can learn. Because for me, and I'll say this personally, for me, I saw the potential of it because it still creates a connection between Boulder and Jackson State.
No doubt about it.
It creates the connection between the people connected between those two schools and the potential of relationships outside of everything else behind the scenes that may not be seen.
I totally agree. This thing is big enough where you can have a sister city relationship between Jackson and Boulder. It is because one thing about Boulder and Jackson or Jackson State and the University of Colorado, they're not in direct competition.
No.
Exactly.
They're not in direct competition.
Especially when it comes to players.
Or anything else.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's not the same kind of research institution, not geographically competitors. Like you're not going after the same markets.
Right.
People don't retire to Boulder or Jackson.
Right.
You're not even in competition with tourism.
Right.
So there's a lot of opportunities that I think are just short-sighted when people get so deep in their feelings and want to pigeonhole somebody to one thing and that one thing only. Now, when we were doing our thing in Jackson, one thing I used to hear constant, oh man, y'all doing a great job. One day y'all gonna be on ESPN. But then when the path to ESPN had to go through the Pac-12, you got mad.
Yeah. Well,
Because one of the things that happens in life, President, people will wish you success as long as your success looks like what they vision for you.
Right.
And man, I'm happy for Churchill 8 years.
Right.
Open one in Memphis and Birmingham.
Yeah.
Now you're doing too much. See, it's like I want you to be successful in my terms and wishes for you. But once you exceed that, that's when the hate ramps up. But it's like I say in the Bible, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. I'm not mad.
No.
I don't take it personal. People who know me know I love Jackson State.
Right.
I still continue. I mean, you saw me at basketball games this season. I still got my courtside season tickets.
Right.
Went to a baseball game the other day.
Right.
Like, this is home and that's my school.
Right.
And I would love to still be able to promote and showcase my school on a platform that was built covering stuff at my school.
Right.
But now if the powers that be, don't want that, then I'm not mad.
Right.
I don't understand it or agree with it, but I'm not mad.
Right. It's like, I know y'all Jackson State alums, and I know I went to a PWI. But growing up in New Orleans, and I told Chad this, I said one of the things that happened, I think people misunderstand what is worldwide famous and what is geographical famous.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of people saying, well, we were already famous for Prime got here. We were already, I'm like, yeah. People in the SWAC, everybody in the SWAC know who Jackson State is. People in the region, if you particularly a computer science major and certain elements of education, they know those elements, they know Jackson. But there was a difference from what y'all did to just the general public. I mean, when you got people in North Dakota, like, Jackson State was the world's HBCU during that time period. And I don't think people understand the difference between worldwide fame and localized fame.
And as a Jackson State guy, I don't want to speak for Chad, I'm speaking for myself. That doesn't offend me.
Right.
I am totally aware of that you can walk down the streets of London, England with a Jackson State shirt on and somebody might not know it.
Right.
You could walk down that same street with a Deion Sanders shirt on and they know it.
Right.
I understand that.
Right,
Like
right.
sometimes you have a brand that is older, 1877.
Right.
Coach Prime was probably about 55, 56, I think.
Yeah.
So I get that. But we had a time period where we were attached to a bigger
Right.
internationally known brand.
Right.
And there were some missed opportunities with that.
Oh, man,
and
yeah.
the beauty of it now is it still don't have to end. Because just like no matter what Robert Brazil does,
Yeah.
came from Jackson State.
Yeah.
No matter what Deion Sanders does, he was head coach at Jackson State.
Yeah.
No matter what
should
Shador
take
Sanders
advantage of,
does,
yeah.
Travis Hunter does, Cameron Silman Craig does, Jeremiah Brown does, Alejandro Mata does, they came from Jackson State.
Yeah.
So
Right,
whether
right.
they go on to win the Pac-12, whether they make it to the playoffs before they college career, win the national championship, their stories, even should they go pro and one day be in the Hall of Fame, God bless them, their stories will always be
Start at Jackson State.
Jackson, Mississippi, Jackson State University at an HBCU.
1400 ministry.
Period. And so what I want to do is, naysayers be damned.
Uh-huh.
I want to chronicle those stories
Right.
because should one of these stories come true,
Right.
think about Steve Sable and NFL Phoenix.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I see every day after school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day after school.
Some
But
was
you
that,
know,
yeah.
now when they was out there doing that, it looked foolish.
Yeah.
They did, yeah.
But 30 years later, who's the fool?
They were.
They were.
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to see that special because it makes you think. Because there's literally people like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not going to be anything. Nobody want to see this. I mean, I remember
Man.
the dude saying that. Nobody want to see this.
I
And
wish,
that-
as
that-
a Jackson State guy, I wish we had interviews, post-game, sideline, locker room practice of Brazil, of Chad Brown, of
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith. But nobody was doing it or either keeping it.
Yeah. So you can go back and
Like Coach Prime has literally put us like in the rap game, dog. Like I own my masters.
Man, you know
Yeah.
what?
Like this, like what we shoot is ours.
It's amazing you mentioned that because when you say I don't understand black folk,
Uh-huh.
sometimes we gotta get our own way. Because I remember a guy who basically tried to destroy our brand and image. Was Coach Bell.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I said what I said.
He did.
Coach Bell, you suck. But now, here's the thing. He threw away everything.
Yeah. Who's that about to break the record? What's that?
Oh, it's Kent.
Yeah,
And
Kent.
and he started running an
Yeah,
option.
he went to a run game.
Yeah,
He
about
ran
to
the
break all
triple option.
Steve McNair
Yeah,
records.
he cost that man the NFL career, man.
Yeah.
Really
You
did.
know, he cost that man getting drafted.
Yeah.
He ended up being a superstar in the arena league.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's
that's a whole difference between.
And
boys
Kent was on the pregame show. Me and Chuck interviewed him, and I kind of brought up Dale and glossed over. He's like, "No, you ain't got glossed over." No, I tell the word I think about. If I see him today, we gonna have words.
Right.
But the word on the street is that he threw away a lot of the archive films.
all of it's gone.
And
It's
it's
gone.
unfortunate.
It's gone.
Yeah.
To even some of the old practice uniforms.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that you don't know your history, you do repeat. That's the kind of thing we didn't want to see happen. So
Right.
now I will say this, Chad, there are a lot of emerging platforms and existing platforms that are covering Jack State football.
Right.
And if nothing else, the pregame show offered a blueprint of how to do it. And so this is not something where I want it to be me so bad that it's me or nobody else.
Right.
I want my school promoted and covered.
Right.
Right.
And so anything I can do to help another platform grow
Right.
the way we grew and do the things we did in their own lens and mindset and capabilities, man, I'm all for it.
Right.
Because I'm for Jackson State.
Right.
But I'm not going to the naysayers out there or the narrative writers,
Right.
I'm not going to turn down an opportunity
No,
for me and my
no.
family and my professional development and growth
Right.
just because somebody on YouTube comment don't understand it
Right.
Right.
or got something to say about it.
Right.
Like, these the same people didn't know we ran a sports league 30 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So,
they
like, you don't
yeah.
even know me, but I'm going to let your comment go, like, maybe I shouldn't be in Colorado because people mad about it. Maybe
Right.
Yeah, right.
Because he'll be all right.
Right.
Because I told Coach Prime this. You know, he and I talk pretty often. You know, even when we're geographically apart. I said, man, one of the things that I thank you for is that you put me in a position with an opportunity to gain something that you or nobody else can take from me.
Yeah.
Like Coach Prime could
Those
literally
experience.
call me tonight and say, hey
Right.
man, change of plans, you can't come to Colorado no more.
Right.
You can't unlearn me how to shoot and edit a video.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Or
can't
create content.
yeah, like
Or
so
create the content,
I
yeah.
thank you for the opportunity and the skill
Right.
set because
Right.
that's what I got from it. And I get to use that skill set for others, for myself, for my
Right.
family, for the good brothers, whoever.
Right.
And that's what you want out of life is like relationships that you grow from.
Oh, man.
I'm not one of these people that's so mad at him because he left because again, not only will he forever be one of our former coaches, here's what people don't appreciate.
Right.
That dude still picks up the phone to this day for former teammates.
Right.
He could pick up the phone right now for Jackson State, the city of Jackson, for Chad, for Preston, for Neely.
Right.
Right.
And so I'm not in the burn business bridges.
Right.
Like a guy that's lived in Jackson, from Jackson, gone on to greater stuff. Can you imagine Gary, Indiana dissing Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Right. That's bad. That's bad, man. That's bad.
But by the same token, if Gary, Indiana, whatever their local newspaper was, particularly the small black paper,
Right.
what if they would have had the resources when the Jacksons moved to California and said, hey man, Chad, get your camera, your notebook, we got it covered. Stay with them the rest of their lives, send stories back to us.
Right.
That'd be legendary.
What if when Peyton, Walter Payton, left Jackson State, went to the Bears, the Clarion Ledger at Jackson Advocate had the resources or the wherewithal to say, hey man, go with them. Send back everything.
But you know what? It something that has me very disturbed that we don't quite understand. I've said it before on the Good Bus Community podcast. We often underestimate. We often dismiss it. We often deflect it. It's the power of relationships.
Oh man,
Oh, yeah.
relationships,
Yeah,
everything.
that's everything.
Give me relationships over money.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the power of relationships.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people, again, outside of what they think they know, they don't get it. The power of relationships.
Can't argue against that.
At all. Man, I've enjoyed the good brothers, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Got
Yeah,
the ash going. Yeah. Glad. I appreciate the invite. Can I come back?
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you're ready.
Yeah.
Anytime you're
Yeah,
ready.
y'all got my
Right,
word.
so-
When Neely's in town, which I hate to say in town, when Neely's home,
Right.
Right.
which
right.
Neely hadn't moved. Neely live in Jackson.
Right.
When
Right.
Neely is home, man, I would love to sit down with the good brothers again, just chop it
Right,
up,
and
man.
just chop it up and see what's
Yeah.
going on in the
Yeah.
world. 'Cause
Maybe,
it's-
maybe make
you
a
know-
jelly sandwich or
Oh,
something.
man.
Yeah, we was talking
Yeah.
about that earlier.
Put the triangle slices in the air.
That's good, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, man, Neely, like I said, it's always good to have you home and to chop it up. You know, I wish we could record sometimes some just the conversations we have around the bar when some of the coaches are in here and stuff
Right.
like that. But you can't put a camera up in here. Everybody don't want to be seen every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Some people don't need to.
That's one. But
Absolutely,
that's one of the things we try to do with the Good Brothers Committee podcast is some of the conversations with some of the people we have around the bar, some of the attorneys, law enforcement, elected officials, coaches. They're about life, and these are conversations that people need to hear and to digest and to add their 2 cents into. Because I always believe I'm right, but it's always good to
Give them a perspective.
Yeah, give
Right.
it a perspective. Every now and then I'll bag up and say, hey, maybe I had the wrong idea here. Every now and then.
Well, I'm gonna end my part on this. As y'all showed in, I'm in my part on this. You know what we call him, right? Teffy. and
What?
the Teffy is for Teflon.
Oh,
And the
what's that?
Teflon is because don't know stick to it.
Don't say no more.
Oh no, he ain't gonna like no. When he say he might back up, he ain't backing up.
I can feel it. I have much love for Preston. So, to everyone, as always, we thank you. Don't forget to always check out the Good Brothers Community podcast and YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and share, and leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think. Hey, Jackson State University will always be Jackson State University. Neely will always be Jackson
Lee,
State
I love
University. Lee, I love it. And as always, we thank you.
Let's go with your smoke.
Exactly. Peace.
Bam.